Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from your art sins. Welcome back to another video. Today is day 12 of the 30 Days of Making Comics Challenge. So welcome back to that. Today we're going to be talking about how to find the art style for your comic. And before we get into that, I just wanted to explain what's going on in the background. So these are just my warm-up sketches. So I always start off the day with warm-up sketches just to get me loose and get ready for working on my comic. And then you'll see me transition into working on storyboards. So that is what I got done today. Some gesture drawing, some storyboarding, and then after I make this video, I'm going to be finishing up some character design sheets and hopefully working on some promo artwork and some fan artwork. So it's gonna be a busy day today. But I feel really motivated, feel really inspired, so let's do this. Let's take on day 12 and let me impart some information to you. So when deciding the style for your comic, I want you guys to ask yourself 4 questions, and we're gonna go through these questions just one at a time. So the first question that I want you guys to ask yourself is, what is your ideal comic and what would that look like? Okay, so is your ideal comic, is it, styled kind of like American comics where you got pen and inks and colors? Is your ideal comic manga where it's black and white and using screen tones? Is your ideal comic going to be a web comic in which you can really mess around with all kinds of mediums? So I really want you to picture what your ideal comic would look like, okay? And the second question for you, which will help with what your ideal comic will look like, is what are your inspirations? What are your biggest inspirations for wanting to make a comic? And I want you to actually write them down, okay? So create a document, write down your biggest inspirations for wanting to create comics. And I want you to go through those comics and see what format they're in and what kind of style they have. Is it black and white? Are they color? All those kinds of things. So start to think about that. Now, I want you to say, okay, here are my inspirations. Here's what my ideal comic would look like. I want you to mash those two together and think about, okay, what is the story that I'm trying to tell? And what will be the best way to represent it? In my case, I want to represent it with animation in the future. So I have that in the back of my mind in terms of I want this to be the ideal. And I also want it to be very expressive. So I'm thinking kind of a cartoony kind of style. Okay? So question number 2 is, or number 3, I'm not sure which one we're at right now, is what tools do you have at your disposal? And I want you to actually list down what you'll be making your comic out of. So when I first got it started, it was just pencil and paper and some markers and rulers. That's what I had to work with. Now I wanted to shrink down the space in which I work, and I want to create an interactive web comic, so I am using vector art now. So I am using digital art for my tools. So this next question, I want you guys to just write down what tools do you have at your disposal to use for your comic. Okay? Now the third question is, how much time do you have? And I want you to be reasonable about this. Just how much time are you really going to have in your day to be able to create a comic? And with that being said, and how much time you have, we can now come up with somewhat of a final solution for us to be able to make our comic. So this is a great point in time to start doing style tests. And basically what I want you to do for this exercise is that I want you to pick up some of your inspirations and how you visualize your comic and try to create a comic page. And you can do this and start to demo your story, but I don't necessarily think you're at that point yet. what I want you to do is maybe start to study how other people, your inspirations, are creating those comic pages. And I want you to use the tools that you have to be able to create that comic page. And I don't even mind if you're copying the artwork, as long as you're not tracing. See how long it takes you to pencil and ink, and if it's black and white, fill in your blacks, or if it's color, to fill in your flats and to do your shading. I want you guys to time this. Time how much it takes, and then from there you can see how much you need to simplify. So for myself, I decided on my grayscale style and the kind of brush that I use, because I know I needed a certain amount of speed, and I did a lot of style tests, and not only was it the speed, but it was a certain sense of immediacy and looseness in line work that I really appreciated and that I really liked. So I'm still developing this style, and part of the reason I'm going to be creating the character design sheets and some more promo artwork tonight is to really get this style hammered down. So hopefully this video kind of helps you guys. I just encourage you to go out there, find your inspirations, and do these studies for so many different comic artists, and get into the mindset of what you need to do to create a comic, and have that ideal image of what you want your comic to look like, and keep on testing it out. But the most important thing is to time it. So hopefully you guys have fun with that, going out there, finding comic pages, and doing some studies. Don't post these studies. Don't steal people's artwork. Just study. I want you guys to get into a habit of studying. That's what I'm doing right now. And I don't need to post those artworks. These are simply for me to get into the mind of specific artists that I like, and see why they're making certain decisions, and seeing how long that takes. And so I can develop my own skill set and my own techniques, tips, and tricks to make this style of comic that I want to make. So I'll catch you guys in the next video for day 13. I'm excited, guys, and get out there and work on your comics. All right, peace.